Life has thrown me so many shades. I've been up, I've been down, I've experienced lack, and I've had plenty. My name is Princess. As a child of missionary parents, I was born in the northern part of Nigeria, and at that time, it was peaceful. And my dad worked at the University of Maiduguri before he gave it all up to go on missions. I was born when dad had staff working for him at the university. He was living in the staff quarters. Life was good. But he left it all to go to Chad Mission and set up the church. When we joined him in Chad, the war was still raging. There was war in Chad at the time, and life was tough. I understood contentment. I understood to be content. Our dad introduced us to this concept of contentment very early in life. Dad was always happy. When the bullets were flying through the roof, he was never afraid. This man was never under pressure. I can recall when we would live in some houses, and that was what he could afford at the time, and life was tough. Life was not easy in the country as well. I would ask him, Dad, why did you choose this life? You were in the university. He will laugh with a smile. He say, it's for God and for souls. And once in a while, we'll go back home to Nigeria. We'll go to visit, and we always look forward to those times when we go home to Nigeria to visit. It was one of the best times of our lives because we got out of that war-torn country for a bit, Nigeria. In the war-torn country, you see houses with marks or holes that bore the bullets. And you always see soldier men, army, they are always armed to their teeth. And it was easy to find people with guns, with knives, and people really died. Sometimes you don't know how and why people died. But if you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, you might lose your life for it. So one time we went to Nigeria, and one of the pastor's wives in Nigeria made fun of us. She said, you must be glad to see better things here, and the nice buildings and what have you. She tried to denigrate us. But when we told our parents, Dad was not broken. He smiled and he said, she said that? Well, it's okay. It's okay. If she said that, it's okay. She said so many things. I don't want to say everything that she said, but for children at the time, it broke our spirit because we knew where our dad was coming from. We knew, at least I could recollect, some of my brothers who were born in mission field might not recollect the life we were living, but I could recollect that we really had a good life at the time. Life was good. Daddy had a driver, Daddy had a cook, Daddy had, I think he had a driver, he had a gardener, and he had someone that opened the door, and I don't know if he had a cook at the time. I don't think so because my mom would cook, but there was always help in the house, people to take care of us and all that. So life was good. We were living in the best, beautiful community. The university quarters are always very beautiful. And going from there to a place where the buildings were so nice, life was so good, anything you needed you could afford. There was a car or cars to drive us around, and we went to the university staff schools. We were pretty well off. But when things changed and we went to mission, Daddy took it in good faith. You'd never see him complain. You never see him complaining, sad, regretting why he chose to leave everything that he had to go on mission field. You never see him regret. People will be shocked to see him always joyful, all smiles, all the time. Someone wondered what would become of us. As we were studying in French language, we were many children, 7 of us. How will his children cope when they left missions? What will become of these children? There's so many. My dad will assure them that God will take care of it. You would see the shock on their faces. On his face, on the contrary, there was no fear whatsoever. I remember how he simply enjoyed serving everywhere he went. It was humbling how he wanted the best for all the members of the churches where he started and where he served, as well as the one he pastored. It was unexplainable. He taught us to embrace every season and assured us that we can be anything we wanted to become in life. Today we are left with only memories of him, memories of what he told us. As in just in a few years, everything is like day and night. My dad was a humble man. He taught us humility. One of his favorite verses was this: a man's life does not consist in the abundance of the things he has. He told us you cannot sleep in so many rooms. You can only sleep in one room at a time and one bed at a time. Why bother your head? Why stress yourself for buildings, for properties that you cannot afford? If you cannot afford it, don't stress yourself for it. God will, Daddy will never touch or steal church money. He would rather use his own money to help church members and anyone who asked him for help if he had the money. He tells us that we should live according to our means. Money doesn't move him. Money was a tool to carry the gospel to the unreached. This is why God has honored his faith. Today I am grateful for his sacrifice, and I am enjoying. I say it every time. I'm enjoying the seed of the prayers that our parents sown in our lives, the prayers that Daddy sown in our life. God has been so gracious to us. God has been so good to us. I look back at where I'm coming from and where I am today. I cannot imagine how God has exponentially taken care of every one of us, even when our father died. You know, Nigeria is this country where we grew up in mission fields. Okay, I didn't grow up in Nigeria. I grew up in mission fields. But once in a while, we came to Nigeria to visit, and I came back to Nigeria for my first degree. I did my first degree in the university in Nigeria, and that was like the first time I would stay a very long time in Nigeria. And it was about, I think I stayed in Nigeria, all my years in Nigeria would have been about maybe 7 years. Wait, let me see. Yeah, about 7 years. Really, about 7 years. Because I actually left Nigeria just after my first degree, and I went to Europe. And from Europe, here I am. I lived in Europe for a couple of years, and then I got married, and me and my husband decided to move to Canada. But I'm telling you this for a reason. I'm just trying to tell you that I have learned from the most humblest of all men, from someone who had life like this with levity. Life did not define things of this life, I would say. Things of this world did not define who my dad was. He was a man of integrity. He taught us to be sincere. He told us that even if people were doing bad and they were getting away with it, as soon as we put our hands to try it, we shouldn't be surprised that we'll be caught. That we should always live with integrity in heart. We should always do things as if God was watching us. That there is an eye watching us. Someone that's not saying anything, always watching us and noting down everything that we're doing for the day of accountability. Even if nobody sees you, God sees you. Today is just a story on contentment that I want to share with you. How I've learned in everything there to be content. As much as Dad tried his best to give us a better life even on mission fields, we had at least people used, toilets where they dig holes, but Dad made sure that we had regular toilets, regular toilets like what we have even here in Canada. He always installed those in the house. He tried his best to get running water in the houses where we lived. There's always water. And even though we lived in, the war-ravaged places, life was still somewhat comfortable. But one thing that Daddy always did was that he made sure that he gave us the best of education. The best education. He sent us to the best schools. He made sure he helped us with our assignments. He made sure we knew that this was not the only place we're going to be, and that he's encouraging us to spread our wings and fly. But you cannot fly if you don't have the tools. So he gave us the tools that we needed so that one day we could fly. Because mission, he chose it. Right? Maybe every one of us might not want to be a missionary. Maybe some of us might want to do other things with our lives. But he gave us that opportunity. He didn't allow his own vision, his own desire, his own dreams to hinder the dreams of his own children. So he gave us the tools that we need. He might not have left us any inheritance, but the best inheritance that he said he was giving to us was education. And I'm forever grateful to him for the education that he gave to us. He said he was ready to pay our school fees on any length you want to go in life, anywhere, and as much as you want to study, he was ready to sponsor you. And I thank God that God kept him alive until he sponsored every one of us through school, until our last child, our last brother, our baby brother, he graduated, he went to the university, completed his law education, and even though Daddy was not there for his call to bar, but he already had the tools. He was already out of law school, and he went to law school after Daddy passed, and he's a lawyer today. Every 7 one of us had a shot at education, and we took it. And that's the tool that took me to Europe. And with that, me and my husband were able to come here as high-skilled workers, high-skilled immigrants to Canada. Today, I'm Canadian. Who would have thought that little missionary kid all the way in Chad will become a Canadian today? How? But God did it. It first starts with contentment. I didn't try my best to be like some kind of children. There were rich men children in our school. We went to good schools, very good schools. There were very rich men children there. But we didn't try to be like them. We didn't try to change who we were. We always tell people we're missionaries' children. Our father is a pastor. And we were content with what Daddy gave to us. Sometimes, yes, as children, you want more. But we made do with what we had. And we hoped that one day we'll have everything that we want. And today, anything that I want, I have the means to get it. Anything that my children want, I have the means today to get it. And I'm grateful for the teaching that my father gave to us, for the teaching on contentment. And today, I can say that I'm content. I have seen it all. Maybe I've not seen everything about life, but I've seen the good path. I've seen the bad path. I've seen tough life. I'm living soft life today. And I believe that I'm still going to have more softer life to the glory of God. But a man's life does not consist in the abundance of the things that he has. And you can only live once. Live your life the best way that you can live it. And be remembered for what is good. That's what matters at the end. That's what matters. Thank you for watching. If you have watched me up to this point, please share what you learned growing up. What are the lessons that you learned growing up? And don't forget to like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let me know what other videos you'd want me to share with you. Thank you so much. Bye.